So Eve, this is your first time.
Yes.
So before I do this, I just want to explain a little bit about what's going to happen. Because it is really, I do a lot of weird, this is the weirdest thing I do. Which
He
is
keeps
saying
his clothes
something
on.
actually in context.
I was gonna say I don't think it's weird. So what does that
Yeah,
say
yeah,
about me?
I probably won't.
Well, and that's Welcome to the Silver Broom. That's like, this is, compared to everything else that goes on here, maybe not so much, but I'm used to talking and teaching from my own awareness and point of view. On Tuesday nights, I let my collective guides speak through me in a process called translation. I studied a lot of channeling in the 80s because it was everywhere. Jane Roberts channeling Seth, and Jay-Z Knight channeling Ramtha, and Bartholomew, and just all of them. I couldn't get enough of it. I even worked with a channeler in Cambridge to train me a little bit. She took me on as an apprentice, which was kind of cool.
How are you doing?
And to find out that channeling was not my cup of tea because I didn't like time sharing my body. This isn't that, but it kind of looks like it. So the reason why it's called the Interior Collective is because if you're familiar with Jerry and Esther Hicks, the teachings of Abraham,
It just reinforces.
I love Abraham. And Abraham is most likely part of the collective, but even Abraham will say, we're not just one being, that there are thousands of them. So rather than give my guides one name, which I couldn't do because I speak to some of them individually, they suggested the name either the Inspired Collective or the Interior Collective. And I liked the Interior Collective because it really does say everything's inside of us. So this is the most natural thing in the world for me to do for some reason. I think my acting training had a little something to do with that because you have to be able to disassociate a little bit. And their only intention ever is to give people as much uplifting, truth-based information as possible, but they have really no attachment to what you do with it. Like, they don't even have attachment to what I do with it, except sometimes I'm like, guys, where are my keys? And they're like, tune to it. I'm like, no, tell me where my keys are. So we have that kind of jokey relationship. To explain it chakra-wise, this is how they explained it to me. They take a block of thought based on somebody's question or situation, and they drop it into my crown chakra. That's like a satellite dish. And it hits my third eye, and their vibrational thought matches words in my unconscious mouth, and it flies out my mouth. So it's only a crown, third eye, and third chakra thing. That's why I don't always remember it afterwards. Because it's not going all the way down into my experience. So while it's going on, I'm aware of it. But as soon as they pull back, it's like trying to remember a dream. Like it's an altered state. Having been in a few altered states, and they like me. They like my sense of humor, and I have words that are not in Esther Hicks's vocabulary. So they very rarely say "motherfucker," but that's one of my favorite words. I don't believe in bad words. I was raised by a teacher who always told me to look things up. And at the time, motherfucker wasn't in the dictionary, so. So, yeah, they like my sense of humor, and it's even starting right now, because I'm reaching different people that would probably never look into Abraham Hicks or even Hay House products, so they're like, fine. And the questions that we get here are really not the questions that you find in an Abraham seminar. Some of them are. So it takes me a few minutes to tune and line up with them, not terribly long. So let's do it. Right
Thank
on
you
time.
for that. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate it.
And we are ready. And Mark can feel the tingles moving down his spine. And we want to say those moments when you think a thought, where you get goose pimples, where you get the tingles. Not necessarily that it is us specifically, but that you are in alignment with Source, and that thought that you are focused on, even if but for 30 seconds, is from Source when it tingles. When you get that, ooh, that feels so good. Particularly when you have a physiological reaction. that feels good, you can pretty much guarantee that's coming from Source. We also want to include that your higher self, your inner being, your God self, your true self, been called so many things, is a part of Source. So while some people are getting guidance from their guardian angel, Source. Where some people are getting it from Archangel Michael, Source. As Mark likes to say, and we inspire him to say it this way, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, Thor, Wilma Flintstone, who cares? It's all Source. Because you are Source.